Now, this particular resume format has done, and I would say performed really great for me. I believe whatever is your most important and most impactful part of the resume should lie on the, so if you will see my resume, it's more like a full stack engineer kind of like a resume. And if you carefully see, all of these things have proper links. So this is kind of like a quick tip that you can also actually follow. The recruiters can become curious to know more about you and probably give you a chance at their company. I'm going to show you a no filtered, exact same to same resume. I had to also make a lot of iterations and a lot of changes. The purpose of your resume should be to, so definitely this has been one of the most asked question recently on my channel since I posted the video that I'll be joining Meta as a software engineer. I know that a lot of people actually face the problem of not getting their resume shortlisted, and a lot of people were actually curious to know that what kind of resume I actually submitted that got shortlisted, not just for Meta but for other big tech companies including Uber, Microsoft, Google, Coinbase and whatnot. So in this particular video, I'm going to show you a no filtered, exact same to same resume that I actually used to apply to all of these companies. The format, the overall layout of the resume we are going to talk about in depth, and I'll tell you about my thought process around keeping the resume in this particular way. Now, this particular resume format has done, and I would say performed really great for me, and a lot of friends of mine also follow a similar format, and that has worked great for them as well, at least for getting shortlisted and getting the first call from the recruiter. So without any further ado, let's just start, and let's start taking a deep dive into how exactly my resume looks like. So you can see this is actually my resume, and the moment you are going to land up to the resume, at that particular moment you will realize that at least in the starting part of the resume, I have not added anything random, no bullshit, straight right onto the point. I have just mentioned all of my communication ways, like my email, this is where I put my phone number, my LinkedIn and my GitHub. The 4 most important things that anybody can actually use in order to see my previous work or maybe communicate to me. And right at that moment, you can see on the left hand side, I have started putting my professional experience. So you can see what I use is I've used kind of like a 2-column resume where the complete left side of my resume talks about my professional experience, right? I believe whatever is your most important and most impactful part of the resume should lie on the top left part, which in my case is definitely the professional experience. And then one by one, I have talked about all of my previous experiences. You can see my experience with Microsoft, my experience with Google, and my experience with LinkedIn. In each of these, I have specifically mentioned what role I was at, what was the tenure, right? So technically when I use this resume, I was still working at Microsoft. So that's why it says present and I still have to update it. But you can see all of the things I have tried to actually summarize well, right? I have used some actionable keywords and mentioned that what kind of complex problem we were actually trying to solve. And in most of the experiences, you will be able to see that I also try to mention the metrics that I was able to move, right? Whatever type of work you do, it is going to produce some kind of impact, right? So always make sure that you know what impact you are going to produce, because that is going to also help you to put that in your resume, and it actually shows your credentials as a software engineer that you are not just a coding machine, but you actually work on things that impacts the business, right? So you can see everything is actionable, everything is I would say metric oriented and shows what things I was able to actually move, right? I also try to mention that what location this particular position was with, and then what kind of I would say you can see features are there. If I have to mention, let's say somewhere the technology, I also mentioned the technology that let's say this was more around Flutter, gRPC and Java and so on. So this gives kind of like a orientation to the overall resume. Now what I believe is that whatever type of position you are applying to, try to tilt your resume around that. So if you will see my resume, it's more like a full stack engineer kind of like a resume. But at any point of time, it was, if there was a scenario where I have to just apply for a backend position, I used to tweak the resume to talk more about my accomplishments and my work around the backend systems and the backend aspects. So this is kind of like a quick tip that you can also actually follow. Now, coming to the right hand side, you can see on the right hand side, I have one column where I have separates multiple sections. Now, there is one section where I have talked about some achievement. You can see this is pretty old because these are something that are coming still from my college days, but I still keep them intact until I have no more space and this becomes the first thing to go off. But then I believe an important aspect of my resume are my open source contributions. These are also coming from the college days, but I still mention them because I believe they put a really good impact on your resume, right? So I talk about my experiences with respect to my tenure at GSOC, what actually project I built, and if you carefully see, all of these things have proper links, right? Like my LinkedIn, it has a proper link here, right? My GSOC project, right? My overall achievements, everything has proper linking done so that people can actually come up and see what I have actually done. Overall, the purpose of your resume should be to give the proof of work that yes, this is what you talk about that you have done, and yes, actually you have done it, so that people can become, I would say, curious. The recruiters can become curious to know more about you and probably give you a chance at their company. Then you can see I have talked about whatever are the set of conferences where I have actually delivered a talk. This includes, you can see, PyCon Italy, EuroPython, NDC Melbourne, right? React Nexus was in India, PyCon Dubai. All of these things I have actually mentioned, and I have also added the link for all of those conferences where people can actually just go and see my talk, what actually I'm talking about. Then you can see these are some projects. To be very honest, this is something which is kind of like a lazy thing from my side, but I have never, like from a long time, I have not updated this project section. These projects are still coming from my old third year. Ideally, I should have technically updated it, but to be very honest, what I believe is that your initial part of the resume creates most of the impact, and at least in my opinion, this might be true, might not be true, but I believe that most of the recruiters don't even like land up till this particular part of my resume. So to be very honest, I have not done much of the work here, but it's an action item on me that I should definitely try to improve it. Then at last, you can see I have mentioned a couple of profiles here, all the skills that I am trying to make sure that, okay, these are the skills that I'll be able to answer questions on. I feel that a lot of people put a lot of skills in this particular section. I am not a very big fan of that, because the more number of skill set that you actually mention here, the more number of questions are going to be actually asked you. You are opening the doors for the interviewers to ask as many questions as possible. The least important things in my resume, that's my college education. I have put that in the bottom right. You can see that. So overall, you can see this is the orientation of the resume. Now, few things that you can actually see from the resume is that I have not mentioned anything which is obvious, right? Like for example, I mentioned that I am good with React.js, okay? When I say I have skill set as React.js, then there are two things. First, I believe that at least 6 to 7 out of 10 questions I should be able to answer React on this level that I will be judged on. Plus, if I know React, I have not mentioned things like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and like the ultra basic stuff. Why? Because if somebody is writing that they know React, it will be kind of like expected that, okay, a basic knowledge of HTML they will be having. So it's obvious you don't want to put that particular thing altogether, right? Now, one thing that I believe you can actually also add is, let's say, your location, but again, that is also obvious. For example, I was working with Microsoft India, so I have put the location here. There is no point of me putting my, let's say, address here. Nobody is going to care about what home address you have, right? That's not the thing that you put in your resume. Plus, there is no intro line that, hey, I am Sanket Singh, I'm a software engineer, very much curious to do XYZ thing. No. Whatever amount of impact your resume has to provide, the content of the resume should provide that, not an initial tagline. I'm not a fan of a tagline. I believe the resume should be easily readable and people should be able to get an idea of what you actually do. So nothing which is obvious I try to actually mention. And then of course, when you mention about your work at a particular company, you might have done a lot of more work apart from that, but you try to mention the most impactful stuff there. So try to represent that in a way that yes, these are some of the most impactful things, and once you start doing discussion around my experience at this particular company, you'll be able to understand a lot of more layers of the work that you have done. Also make sure that whatever level you are applying to, for example, you are applying to, let's say, an SD1 level or let's say SD2 level, you try to tailor your resume that you show the skills required for that particular level. I'm planning to actually put a video on what are the different expectations at each level of software engineering, so that you can also try to understand that what things you can put in the resume. Plus, always make sure that you see the job description so that you can add the relevant keywords and also tweak your projects accordingly for those particular keywords that are actually asked in a particular company. For example, if it's a Golang, I would say opportunity, there is no point of, let's say, writing here things like, let's say, Ruby on Rails, right? It will be great if you are applying to a Golang opportunity, you know Golang, you have done some Golang projects, then mention Golang in the skill set and also update your projects accordingly. I believe this is going to be something that is going to be really very helpful. And this is overall my resume. You can see everything is properly formatted. Of course, there might be some nitpicks that we can also do here and there, but overall I have made sure that things are properly formatted. It doesn't look very clumsy. I'm able to put as much as possible information here. There were a few extra things that I could have added from my internship days, but you can see I was not having any space left, right? This is a one-page resume. I have not talked about any one of my internships, so I have actually trimmed them out. It's not like I have now started putting things on the second page, because I believe that a one-pager resume should be enough for talking about the most impactful work that you have done. It's not a CV where you have to talk about all of your history, right? So try to figure out what are some of the important things that you can trim from your resume and what are the important things that you can actually put in the resume. This, I believe, the format, if you want to check the same format, you can search for it on overleaf.com. You can go to Google and search for Ronak Dedia's CV or resume and just put a space and say overleaf.com. You will find this template. You can go there. It's a free website. You don't have to pay anything, nothing to pay for making this resume. And this resume has been made in latex. So you have to write some latex. It's mostly like Markdown. You will be able to very easily figure out the overall presentation, and that is it. I believe if you want to make a similar resume, you can very easily make it on Google Docs also. If you don't want to make a lot of effort in writing latex, this can be also made on Google Docs with very minimalistic effort. So that was it. That's it. That's my resume altogether, right? So I believe this gives you a fair idea on what are the things that are very important for a resume, and this is something that works for me. I would say if you want, you can try out and see whether it works for you or not, and then maybe tweak your resume. This is not the final, this is not the first iteration of the resume that I did. I had to also make a lot of iterations and a lot of changes throughout my career. My resume has changed a lot, right? So I also make a lot of iterations and learn from them. So I believe this can be a good start for you. And do let me know in the comment section if you have any questions regarding this particular resume, and I would be really happy to answer all of them. That being said, let's wrap this particular video here. We are going to meet soon in the next set of videos. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. I'm Sanket Singh, signing off.